happening in Sikkim due to flash floods. Now, this is a developing incident, and in this, at least 23 army personnel have been reported missing in Sikkim's Lechen Valley due to the flash floods in the Teesta River. Now, this event unfolded early in the morning and has raised alarm among authorities as well as the military. The circumstances leading to this situation involve army vehicles that were parked in the Bardang area near Singtown. The flash flood occurred following the release of water from the Chungthang Dam, causing an abrupt and substantial rise in the water levels downstream. Right on your screens, these visuals coming in from Sikkim. Floods have wreaked havoc in fact, Sikkim. These worrisome visuals coming in from, Sikkim, and this, in fact, flash floods were caused after a cloud burst. The flash flood alert for the region was issued after a cloud burst in Singtown, further escalating the situation. Now, this event has prompted a swift and coordinated response from local authorities, the military as well as the emergency services. Right on your screens, you can see the situation right now in Sikkim. Search and rescue operations have been initiated to locate and ensure the safety of the missing army personnel. In fact, if we have to just speak of the visuals that you're watching right on your screens here, the road has caved in, asphalt has been completely washed away, and in fact, it has also marooned the nearby villages. It's going to take a lot of time for the authorities to try and establish a contact with those living in this particular village in Sikkim. In the meantime, their authorities also trying their best to reach out to people, particularly in areas where the floods have wreaked havoc and the connection has been cut off. Search and rescue operations have been initiated to locate and ensure the safety of the missing army personnel. 23 army personnel are missing. As of now, that's the latest update that we have with us. The challenging terrain and the suddenness of the flood have made the rescue efforts particularly challenging. Chief Minister Prime Minister of Sikkim is actively monitoring the evolving flood-like situation and also coordinating response efforts to address the impact of this flash flood. Worrisome visuals coming in from Sikkim, where a flash flood in Teesta River in Sikkim's Lechen Valley has in fact left 23 army personnel missing. That's the official update here. A local BJP leader has also said that there has been no loss of life, but public properties have been damaged in Singtown. There is also information about some people missing, and search and rescue operations are underway to find them. The road, in fact, has caved in. There you can see authorities also trying their best to now, in fact, try and establish a contact, especially with people who have been living in these villages. It's going to take a lot of time for the authorities to establish a contact. That's the kind of, in fact, devastation that these floods have caused in this northeastern state of India. That's Chief Minister, in fact, of Sikkim, now trying to also taking stock of the situation. The authorities also on the job, currently trying their best to help as many people as they possibly can. People finding it difficult to commute. Many people have been stranded, although no loss of life has been reported, but there are some reports which suggest that a few people are missing. The Chief Minister has assured the people of this northeastern state that the authorities are on the job and they are trying their best to, in fact, help people who are stranded. The flood was caused by a sudden cloudburst over Lohnak Lake in North Sikkim, and this is what is said to have led to a sudden increase in water levels in Teesta River. The release of water from the Chungtham Dam further in fact added to the situation. Now this has caused the water level to rise up to 15-20 feet high downstream. 23 army personnel are said to be missing, and on the there on your screens, Chief Minister taking stock of the situation, and on the other side of your screens there you can see the road has caved in, asphalt has been washed away, and also the floods have marooned the nearby villages. It's going to take a long time before a link is established with people living in this particular area. The authorities are finding it difficult to reach people who are living on the other side. Supplies, these people in fact might not even get supplies for days to come, given the kind of serious situation that people of Sikkim are dealing with right now. Possibility of bridges being washed off is also not being ruled out. They're now a worrisome situation in fact Sikkim. This situation was triggered following a cloudburst. At least 23 army men are missing. Search and rescue operations have been initiated to locate and ensure the safety of the missing army men. In fact, these army vehicles were parked at Bardang near Singtham. They were swept away by the raging flood waters. Search operations currently underway to now find out the missing army personnel. These floods have also caused a great deal of damage to many army establishments along the Lachen Valley. That's the kind of situation that you're witnessing right on your screens. Flash floods have caused havoc in Sikkim. Efforts are currently on to assess the full extent of the damage. The floods have caused havoc in this northeastern state in India. People have been stranded. The authorities are on the job trying to figure out a way to reach those who have been stranded. Do remember that this flood was caused by a sudden cloudburst over Lohnak Lake in North Sikkim. This is what led to a sudden increase in water levels in the Teesta River, and the release from the Chungtham Dam further added to the situation. Water flowing dangerously. Many villages are many villages are marooned. Rescue operations are currently underway for those who are missing. Fortunately, so far no loss of life has been reported. These visuals coming in from Sikkim, where the flash floods have also now caused damage to several army establishments. The Singtham footbridge, which was over Teesta River, collapsed due to the overflowing river. Sections of National Highway 10, which connect Sikkim to West Bengal, West Bengal to Sikkim, also have been washed away. A high alert has been sounded in the state by the Sikkim government, and people have particularly been asked to stay away from River Teesta. Not only in Sikkim, but the Jalpaiguri administration in West Bengal has also started evacuating people from the lower catchment area of the river. Now, this step has been taken as a precautionary measure to ensure no untoward incident takes place. That's the dramatic increase in the water levels, and this was caused by a sudden cloudburst. Just in June this year, North Sikkim district also experienced flash floods, devastating flash floods due to the heavy monsoon rains. And now here in October, we are seeing the flash floods in Sikkim have led to 23 army jawans going missing. Several army vehicles also have been washed away as the water level rose up to 15 to 20 feet. Fortunately, no loss of life has been reported. Some army vehicles, in fact, have been submerged in the flash floods. A search operation has been launched. Chief Minister there taking stock of the situation. A high alert has been sounded. Chief Minister Prime Minister is actively monitoring the evolving flood-like situation and is also coordinating response efforts to address the devastating impact of this flash flood. A local BJP leader has confirmed that there has been no loss of life reported, but public properties have been damaged. People also finding it difficult to commute. Many people have been stranded there. In fact, right on your screens, you can see that's the kind of impact that these flash floods are having on Sikkim. The roads have caved in, asphalt has been washed away, and this has marooned the nearby village. I'm again stressing on the fact that it's going to take a long time for the authorities to establish a contact with people living in this particular village, given that the connection between this village and the mainland has been cut off due to the flash floods caused by a cloudburst. Flash floods, in fact, have destroyed 2 permanent bridges. That's the latest that we're getting. Devastating visuals coming in from Sikkim, where a cloudburst has triggered flash floods. 23 soldiers are missing. Many residents have been in fact evacuated. The areas near River Teesta have been put on high alert, and temporary relief facilities have also been put in place in the Singtam Senior Secondary School. Chief Minister on the spot taking a stock of the situation, also trying to instill confidence in people and telling them that the authorities are on the job. The Chief Minister visited Singtam to assess the damage and also was seen engaging with the locals in the area. Widespread devastation caused by floods in Sikkim. This is what the people of Sikkim woke up to. Flash floods, as even in fact it continued to sweep through several parts of the state. The flash floods were triggered after a cloudburst hit the northwest Sikkim, and this caused incessant monsoon rainfall during the wee hours of the day. The areas near River Teesta have been put on high alert. 2 permanent bridges have been destroyed in the flash floods. A very dangerous situation being witnessed in Sikkim right now, and the country is praying that there's no loss of life that has been reported so far, and the country in fact continues to pray that the situation gets under control as soon as possible. There's also a report of 23 army jawans who have been reported missing coming in, and in fact This happened after the flash floods occurred in the Teesta River. That's what the officials have said. Defense Public Relation Officer Guwahati have posted on Twitter and on platform X, formerly Twitter, and this is what they've said. That 23 army personnel have been reported missing due to a flash flood that occurred in Teesta River in Lachen Valley after a sudden cloudburst over Lohnak Lake in North Sikkim. Temporary relief facilities have been set up in the Singtam Senior Secondary School in Sikkim. The Chief Minister, who also took stock of the situation, said that the state is well aware of the recent natural calamity that has struck the state. Emergency services have been mobilized to the affected areas, and he has also urged all the citizens to remain vigilant and refrain from unnecessary travel during this critical time. He has also asked all the people to remain calm, maintain composure, and hope for a swift return to normalcy in their region. This is what Mr. Prime Singh has posted on X. We are all aware of the recent natural calamity that has struck our state. Emergency services have been mobilized to the affected areas, and I personally visited Singtam to assess the damages and engage with the local community. I humbly urge all our citizens to remain vigilant and refrain from unnecessary travel during this critical time. It is essential that we maintain composure and hope for a swift return to normalcy in our region. Now, in fact, taking a look at some of the other stories that are making the headlines this morning, raids are underway by the Enforcement Directorate at Aam Aadmi Party leader and Rajya Sabha MP Sanjay Singh's residence in Delhi. The raids are said to be in connection with the liquor policy scam, for which Sanjay Singh's aides were searched by the Enforcement Directorate earlier this year. Raids are underway at Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha MP Sanjay Singh's residence from 7 a.m. Now, Sanjay Singh's party colleague and former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, remember, is already lodged in jail in connection with the same liquor policy scam. The former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister and Excise Minister was first arrested by the CBI on the 26th of February for his alleged role in the scam. He resigned from the Delhi cabinet on the 28th of February, and the ED later arrested the AAP leader on the 9th of March. From Tihar jail, where he is currently lodged in judicial custody. In its nearly 270-page supplementary charge sheet, which has annexures running into 2,000 pages, the ED has called Sisodia a quote-unquote key conspirator in the case. Now, Singh is the latest Aam Aadmi Party leader who has come under the ED scanner in connection with the liquor policy scam after Manish Sisodia, former Deputy Chief Minister, who was arrested by the Central Bureau of Investigation in February earlier this year. Also, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal was also questioned for nearly 9 hours in connection with the same case in April.
विपरीत बुद्धि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेता अमित शाह, अडानी और नरेंद्र मोदी जी का ये नया तानाशाही मॉडल है, जिसमें संसद में माइक बंद कर दी जाती है, सांसदों को सस्पेंड कर दिया जाता है, वन नेशन वन बिजनेसमैन का मॉडल बुलंद किया जाता है, ब्रजभूषण जैसे लोगों को बचाया जाता है, और जो सांसद, जो पत्रकार देश में लोकतंत्र की आवाज उठा रहे हैं, जनता की बात रखते हैं, महंगाई से लड़ने की बात करते हैं, रोजगार की बात करते हैं, संसद और लोकतंत्र की मर्यादाओं की बात करते हैं, संविधान की बात करते हैं, उनके ऊपर ईडी, सीबीआई, बीजेपी के गुंडे, सोशल मीडिया की ट्रोलिंग और जितने तरह के विध्वंसकारी काम किए जा सकते हैं, सब किए जाते हैं। तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी बता रही है कि जिस तरीके से दिया बुझने से पहले फुकफुकाता है, उसी तरीके से भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बुझने वाली है और उससे पहले फुकफुका रही है। अच्छे दिन देने वाली पार्टी अब इमरजेंसी के दिन ला रही है।
संजय सिंह जो सांसद है, जो एक निर्भय पत्रकार भी रहे हैं, जो खुलकर बात करते हैं, सवाल पूछते हैं, और इस सवाल पूछने का जो गुस्सा था उसकी वजह से उनको पार्लियामेंट से भी निकाल दिया। अब उनके घर पर रेड्स हो रही है। क्या चल रहा है? हमारे ऊपर रेड्स होते हैं, महाराष्ट्र में ये रेड्स होते हैं, पश्चिम बंगाल में रेड्स होते हैं, छत्तीसगढ़ झारखंड में रेड्स होते हैं। गुजरात में क्यों नहीं होते? मध्य प्रदेश में क्यों नहीं होते? और जो जगह है उनकी सरकारें बनी है, आसाम, क्यों नहीं होती आसाम में? अगर जानकारी चाहिए तो हम दे देंगे कहाँ रेड्स करना और क्या कहाँ घपले हो रही है।
शराब घोटाले में निरंतर उनका नाम आता रहा और दिनेश अरोड़ा ने भी अपनी स्टेटमेंटों में बताया था कि वो जो इस घोटाले में उनको इंट्रोड्यूस कराने वाले मनीष सिसोदिया के साथ बाकी लोगों के साथ जो थे वो संजय सिंह थे। ये भी सामने आया था कि जो पैसे का लेन देन हुआ उसमें संजय सिंह के पीए ने वो पैसे का लेन देन में बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा। संजय सिंह पहले दिन से ही शराब घोटाले के में मुख्य तौर पर धारा में थे, मुख्य तौर पर उनका रोल था। यही कारण था कि वो बार बार कहते थे कि देखना ईडी मेरे को अरेस्ट करेगी, देखना ईडी मेरे पे रेड करेगी, क्योंकि चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका उनको तो खुद को पता था कि जो मैंने काम किया हुआ है वो तो आना है सामने। अब आप 2% से 12% कमीशन करेंगे, वो भी बिचौलियों की, और फिर उनसे अंडर टेबल करोड़ों रुपया लेंगे, एक एक आदमी से 100-100 करोड़ रुपया लेंगे, और सरकार को हजारों करोड़ रुपए का नुकसान होगा, और प्राइवेट लोगों को 10 महीनों में ही 2-2 हजार 3-3 हजार करोड़ रुपए का एक एक आदमी को लाभ होगा। तो संजय सिंह जी सवाल तो पूछे ही जाएंगे। अब पैसे लोगे तो रेड भी होंगी, अब रेड होंगी तो चीज़ें भी सामने आएंगी तो आप पे कार्रवाई भी होगी। तो इसको वो अपने बचाव में सिंपैथी लेने के लिए बार बार कहते हैं वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स है जी, हमें तो आम आदमी पार्टी को खत्म करना चाहते हैं। आम आदमी पार्टी अपनी करप्शन के कारण खत्म हो रही है, आम आदमी पार्टी घोटालों के कारण खत्म हो रही है। आम आदमी पार्टी जो आम थी आजकल केवल प्राइवेट चार्टर जेट में घूमती है, 2-2 करोड़ रुपए की गाड़ी में घूमती है, 50-50 करोड़ रुपए के बंगले में रहती है, इसलिए खत्म हो रही है। ईडी के किसी पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा के कारण नहीं खत्म हो रही। इसलिए शराब घोटाले में अगर आपने पैसे खाए हैं तो आपको जवाब तो देना पड़ेगा।
विभाग अपना काम कर रहा है, क्या कहना है।
कितने बजे टीम का?
अब बहुत एग्जैक्ट लोमा टाइम तो नहीं बता पाऊंगा, लेकिन तो अर्ली मॉर्निंग टाइम।
आप घर पे थे उस समय जब?
मैं इसी पार्क में था, मेरी रोज की आदत है, मैं सुबह चाय पी कर पार्क में चला आता हूँ। बच्चे देर रात में सोते हैं, देर तक उठते हैं, तो वाई आई शुड गो टू हेल्प देम।
अभी क्योंकि सब लोग सवाल उठाते रहे, संजय सिंह भी बोलते रहे कि ये जबरदस्ती की कार्रवाई है, परेशान किया जा रहा है। इससे पहले भी एक बार रेड हुई थी, आप क्या कहेंगे?
वो ऐसे नहीं कर रहे थे, ऐसे नहीं कर रहे थे। मैं आप ही को कह दूं बेईमान है और मैं सिद्ध न कर पाऊं तो जबरदस्ती शब्द ही कहा जाएगा कि और कुछ कहा जाएगा।
तो ईडी की टीम से आई तो उन्होंने कुछ कागज दिखाया, आई कार्ड दिखाया, कुछ बात हुई?
हमारी कोई बात नहीं, मैंने केवल इतना पूछा आप लोग कहाँ से आए हैं, कौन है। मैं तो जान लूं, मैं उनका फादर हूँ, हो सकता है मैं झूठ बोल रहा हूँ आप लोग, लेकिन कुछ तो मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ। यू पीपल हैव कम फ्रॉम द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ ईडी, इतना तो मेरी समझ आई है। और संजय देर रात आए हैं, सो रहे हैं, और मैं बहू के कमरे में जा नहीं सकता, बीइंग ए फादर इन लॉ। अगर आप लोग परिवार वाले हों, ये मैंने उनको जवाब दिया। मैंने अपने स्तर से प्रयास किया वो जग जाए, और जैसे ही जग के आए मैंने इस टीम को उनके हवाले किया और उनके अधिकारी से कहा कि क्या मैं बाहर जाके बैठ सकता हूँ। कहा अंकल जी आप जाइए बैठिए। मैंने अपनी तरफ से चाय पानी जो एक भारतीय संस्कृति है ऑफर किया, दे ऑल इग्नोर्ड। मैंने सोचा इनका पार्ट नहीं होगा टू एक्सेप्ट माई विजिट हॉस्पिटलिटी, तो मुझे कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। अभी मैं थोड़ा मिल के कहा था कि कृपया आप अपनी इंक्वायरी देर रात आज जरूर कर डालिए, और बार बार की ये छापेमारी जरा कम अच्छी लगती है।
इससे पहले आप लोग के साथ जो रहते हैं सर्वेश और अजीत चावला,
जो मैं रहता ही नहीं तो हर आपकी एक्टिविटी कैसे बता सकता हूँ। आप तो आते हैं कई बार, आपकी एक्टिविटी कैसे बताऊंगा। नहीं रहा होगा, दैट इज इनपुट पार्ट ऑफ द ईडी, दैट इज नॉट माई पार्ट। तो वाई आई कैन से फॉर अदर्स। मैं ये कुछ नहीं कर सकता। मैं आता हूँ, संजय की मम्मी बीमार है, गांव चला जाता हूँ, अभी परसों ही आया हूँ, तो मुझे बीइंग हस्बैंड मुझको आना पड़ता है,
जिसके अंदर पिछले 15 महीने से छानबीन चल रही है। हर दूसरे तीसरे दिन मीडिया को खबर दी जाती है कि साहब यहाँ छापा मार दिया, यहाँ छापा मार दिया। मुझे लगता है कम से कम 1000 जगहों पे छापा ईडी और सीबीआई मार चुकी है। 1 रुपया कहीं पे इन्हें नहीं मिला। ऐसा घोटाला है जिसमें 1 रुपए की कहीं पे रिकवरी नहीं हुई है। अब कहा जा रहा है कि संजय सिंह भी जो है इसके अंदर शामिल हैं, और संजय सिंह जी के घर से भी कुछ नहीं मिलेगा। मैं आपको अभी बता रहा हूं, सूत्र जरूर कहेंगे ऐसा हुआ वैसा हुआ, ये मिल गया वो मिल गया, बहुत सबूत मिल गए, मगर अदालत के सामने जब जाएगा तो कहेंगे कि कुछ नहीं मिला। सिर्फ और सिर्फ भारतीय जनता पार्टी चुनाव हार रही है, ये एक सच्चाई है और एक डेस्परेशन है, एक आखिरी कोशिश है प्रधानमंत्री जी की कि किसी तरीके से वो दोबारा प्रधानमंत्री बन जाएं, मगर आम आदमी पार्टी सरकार से सवाल पूछती रहेगी।
Moving on now, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who has been vocal with his allegation on India's alleged involvement in the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, is now seeking private talks with India to resolve the diplomatic dispute. Now, this development comes after India requested Canada to withdraw over 40 diplomats. India has set a deadline for Canada to repatriate the diplomats by the 10th of October. The strained India-Canada ties stem from Canadian suspicions that Indian government agents were linked to the murder of Nijjar, an allegation that India has categorically denied as absurd. In response, India has threatened to revoke the diplomatic immunity of over 40 diplomats who have been asked to leave if they remain beyond the deadline. Canada has a total of 62 diplomats in India. Now, do remember that Trudeau's move to seek private talks with India suggests an attempt to find a diplomatic solution to the ongoing dispute, which has escalated tensions between the two countries. But the question is it a case of too little, too late? There, in fact, now Justin Trudeau asking for a private talks with India and saying that it is important for both the countries to engage in private talks to resolve the diplomatic dispute. But this comes after he made this wild allegation against India in the House of Commons and alleged India's involvement in the murder of a Khalistani terrorist, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, on Canadian soil. The question is, why should India even entertain someone who has been so shamelessly advocating for Khalistani extremists who have taken anti-India stand time and again? Canada now wanting private talks with India to resolve this diplomatic dispute. India has already taken a firm stance and has taken certain steps which would suggest that India knows what it is doing, and it neither needs the US or Canada for that matter to tell it what should be done or even ask for its cooperation, given that India time and again has asked Justin Trudeau for in fact proof of the allegation, of the wild allegation that he has leveled against India, but he has not provided India with any concrete proof which would in fact prompt India to cooperate with Canada in this particular case, in the killing of this Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Moving on now, NewsClick founder and editor-in-chief, who was arrested by the Delhi police on Tuesday in connection with a case filed under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, has been remanded to 7-day police custody on Wednesday. The human resources head of the news portal NewsClick, Amit Chakravarti, who was arrested along with chief. These in fact two people have been remanded to 7-day judicial custody. They've been sent to police custody. Purkayastha and Chakrabarti were arrested after a day-long raid by the Delhi police at the NewsClick office and residences of around 30 journalists and activists connected with the news portal following allegations that it received money for pro-China propaganda. According to Section 15 of the UAPA, committing a terrorist act is punished by imprisonment for a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of life. If a terrorist act ends in death, the penalty is either death or life in prison. Violent crimes of a severe nature are covered by this offence. The NewsClick founder and editor-in-chief, Prabir Purkayastha, who was arrested by the Delhi police, has been remanded to 7-day police custody. Beg your pardon, it was not judicial custody, it's a police custody instead. So the human resource head of the news portal NewsClick, Amit Chakrabarti, has also been sent to police custody. Switching our focus now, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who will be attending the Indian Navy NIIO seminar at 4:30 p.m. He has expressed anticipation regarding the technology advancements from the Sprint initiative launched by Prime Minister Modi last year, as it continues to significantly impact the defence innovation ecosystem. The second edition of the Indian Navy's Naval Innovation and Indigenization Seminar Swalambhan 2023 is scheduled to be conducted on 4th and 5th of October. In the maiden edition of the seminar held in July 2022, the Honorable Prime Minister launched the 75 challenges for the startups, MSMEs as a part of Sprint initiative. The Sprint challenges are aimed at giving a boost to the usage of indigenous technology in the Indian Navy, and the Navy is committed to developing at least 75 technologies products as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Sprint is a collaborative initiative being undertaken in conjunction with the Defence Initiative Organization and also stands for supporting pole vaulting in R&D through innovations for defence excellence. NIIO and Technology Development Acceleration Cell. Now, this initiative has received an overwhelming response with 1,106 proposals. The White House has described the Canadian allegations concerning India's alleged involvement in the killing of a pro-Khalistan leader as serious and emphasized the need for a thorough investigation yet again. Hardeep Singh Nijjar, the leader of the banned Khalistan Tiger Force, was killed in Surrey, British Columbia on the 18th of June, with India designating him as a terrorist in 2020. During a meeting between External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, these claims made by Canada were discussed. John Kirby, the coordinator for strategic communication at the White House, addressed reporters during a news conference stating, and I quote, "The issue was discussed. We'll certainly leave it to those two countries to talk about their bilateral relationship," unquote. Here, Kirby emphasized, "We have been clear that these allegations are serious. They need not be fully investigated. They need to be fully investigated, beg your pardon. And of course, as we've said before, we urge India to participate actively in this investigation," unquote. The State Department's Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel also echoed this sentiment in a separate news conference, stressing the importance of Canada's investigation moving forward and the perpetrators being brought to justice. Patel noted that the US has urged the Indian government to cooperate in the Canadian investigation and take these allegations very seriously. While acknowledging reports about the diplomatic staffing levels for the Canadian High Commission in New Delhi, Patel refrained from offering further details, emphasizing a step-by-step approach. Vedant Patel, in fact, also spoke with the media. Let's listen in.
Matt, I don't really have anything new to sort of offer on this that both Matt and the Secretary haven't spoke to already, I would say, in the number of times that has come up before the press in the past week or so. I would just reiterate again, we are and continue to be deeply concerned about the allegations referenced by Prime Minister Trudeau, and we remain in regular contact with our Canadian partners, and it's critical that Canada's investigation proceed and the perpetrators be brought to justice. We also have, as we've previously said, publicly and privately urged the Indian government to cooperate in the Canadian investigation and cooperate in those efforts. I've seen the reports on the diplomatic staffing levels for the Canadian High Commission in New Delhi, but I don't have anything further to offer on those reports, and certainly don't want to get into hypotheticals and take this process one step at a time. As it relates to our Indo-Pacific strategy and the focus that we continue to place on the region, that effort and that line of work is going to continue. And of course, with India, we are partners with them in the Quad and in many other fora, and we continue to work with them and other countries in the region on a number of important issues. But as I said at the top of this, we take these allegations very seriously, and we continue to not just work closely with our Canadian partners, but have, as I said, publicly and privately urged the Indian government to cooperate with Canada also.
Moving on now, back home, several people are fear trapped after a building collapsed in Satna town of Madhya Pradesh around Tuesday midnight. The 3-story building collapsed in the Bihari Chowk area. The officials are saying that a rescue operation has been launched and it is currently underway. Siddharth Kushwaha, the MLA for Satna, spoke to reporters at the scene and provided some preliminary information. He said, and I quote, "As per the information we've received, some renovation work was going on, and amid that, this building collapsed. It's not clear how many are trapped inside. Rescue operations are underway." There, Ashok Gehlot, Commissioner, Municipal Corporation Satna, also informed that 2 labourers were trapped under the rubble, have been rescued. From Madhya Pradesh, where a building, an under construction building, has collapsed, and it is still not clear as to how many people are trapped after, in fact, a building collapsed in the Satna town of Madhya Pradesh. The officials are on the job. These visuals are coming in from early this morning. The building collapse took place at Bihari Chowk in Madhya Pradesh. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's legendary tiger claw weapon known as the Wagnak is all set to return to Maharashtra from London this November. This return coincides with the 350th anniversary of Chhatrapati Shivaji's coronation. Maharashtra's Culture Minister Sudhir Mungatiwar will be in London to sign an agreement with the Victoria and Albert Museum for the weapon's return. The Wagnak is expected to be housed at the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Museum in South Mumbai. It was a significant part of the Maratha victory in the 1659 battle of Pratapgarh when Chhatrapati Shivaji defeated Afzal Khan, a general from the Bijapur Sultanate. Now, this battle marked a pivotal moment in Shivaji's campaign to establish the Maratha Empire, showcasing his brilliant military strategies. The historical significance of the Wagnak stems from its use by Chhatrapati Shivaji to kill Afzal Khan, who had treacherously attacked him during a meeting. The weapon symbolizes Shivaji's bravery and cunning in overcoming a much larger and more powerful enemy. While there is a debate over the authenticity of the Vagnak, with some historians questioning whether Chhatrapati Shivaji actually used it. Remember, it remains a source of inspiration and energy. The return of this iconic weapon is a way to commemorate Shivaji Maharaj's coronation and celebrate his legacy.
ऐसा है कि भारत देश में छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये हमारे लिए भगवान का अवतार नहीं होंगे, मगर भगवान से कम नहीं। जब भी क्रूर कर्माओं की क्रूरता बढ़ जाती है तो भगवान अवतार लेता है या भगवान छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज को भेज देता है। हमारे देश में भी क्रूरता की सीमा लांघ दी गई थी। औरंगजेब ये खुद को गाजी समझता था, आलमगीर समझता था, और क्रूरता के बारे में जिसने अपने बाप को जेल में डाल दिया, भाई का सर कटवा दिया और सर कटवा के थाली में परोसकर अपने पिता को भेज दिया, ऐसा पापी, दुराचारी, अत्याचारी, क्रूर करना। ऐसे समय जब क्रूरता बढ़ जाती है तो एक तो भगवान अवतार लेता है या छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज को वो पृथ्वी पे उतार देता है।
Moving on now, Amitabh Bachchan is the latest actor to join Rajnikant's star-studded next Thalaivar 170. His onboarding was announced by the production house Laika Productions. Amitabh and Rajni worked together last in family drama Hum. Now, Thalaivar means they would team up for the first time in 32 years. While they did not work together, Amitabh has always been an avid supporter of Rajni's work. The two stars are all set to share the screen space after 32 years, even though they have not worked together, but mutual respect has always stayed. He will be next seen with South superstar Rajnikant in Thalaivar 170, and the fans are waiting with bated breath to see the two legendary actors sharing the screen space. His onboarding was announced by production house Laika Productions on Tuesday. And in fact, they said that welcoming the Shahenshah of Indian cinema, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, on board for Thalaivar 170. Thalaivar 170 team reaches new heights with the towering talent of the one and only Sir Bachchan, quote unquote. The last time when both of these superstars were seen sharing a screen space was in fact in 1991 in the movie Hum. Now this means that both of these stars will come together for the first time in 32 years. At least 21 people, including 2 children, have died after a bus crashed off a flyover near the Italian city of Venice and caught fire. That's what the official stand has been so far. Now the bus broke through a barrier and plunged near river tracks in the district of Mestre, which is connected to Venice by a bridge. Among the dead are 5 Ukrainians, 1 German and the Italian driver. Venice mayor also said a huge tragedy had taken place. He said an apocalyptic scene, there were no words. That's what he in fact said on his social media. The bus is thought to have been rented to take tourists between Venice and a campsite in the nearby Marghera district. This incident happened at about 5:45 p.m. as the bus was reportedly taking tourists back to the campsite. Some reports say the bus was powered by methane gas and fell on the power lines and caught fire. The Interior Minister also has warned the death toll could rise. The cause of the crash is still not known and the rescue workers are continuing to work at the scene. At least 18 people are known to have been injured, 5 of them seriously injured. A reception point staffed by psychologists and psychiatrists has been set up at a nearby hospital to provide support for the victim's family. Moving on now, repurposing of Hitler's birthplace has sparked concerns. After decades of debate, the so-called House of Evil is set to become a police station. Now, residents of this particular Austrian town where Adolf Hitler was born voice irritation over what appears to them an unfortunate repurposing of the building.
Neo-Nazis could cause trouble here and think they could be prevented by a permanent presence of police. It is a defensive move, not an offensive one.
In the past, the building was used by a charity for people with disabilities.
That's the controversy that's surrounding the House of Evil. The residents, in fact, of this particular town are opposing the move.
Becoming a neo-Nazi shrine. Residents in the town of Braunau would have preferred a different solution.
Well, that's all we have in this edition of the Bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day ahead.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं, जो कि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं।